Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make are, well, it's a sweet dough, so it's sort of like a cinnamon roll, but it's also like an elephant ear, if you've ever had one of those. And I do have another video on elephant ears, but it's it's a different recipe. This particular recipe is made with yeast. And again, you can make it by hand, or I did make it in my bread maker. So I'm going to give you a recipe for the sweet dough. And what you're going to be putting in is 3/4 of a cup of milk, and that's going to be at 110 degrees. 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. 1/3 cup of butter, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1/3 cup of water at 110 degrees, 1 egg that's beaten, 4 cups of all-purpose flour, and 2 packages of active dry yeast. And I made it in my bread maker on the dough cycle. Now when it comes out of the bread maker, it's going to be a very large loaf or dough, I should say. So cut it in half. And this is the other half. And I'm going to put just a little bit of flour down on my countertop and just push the air out of it. I don't want to overwork this sweet dough. And we're going to roll it out very similar to when you make cinnamon rolls, basically. And we're going to roll it out to a rectangle, and we're going to try to get it to be the size of about 8 by 12. Okay, so I'm going to pull that out and try to shape it into a rectangle. And I think we're almost there. There we go. And there we go. Okay. Now, let me get rid of this for a second. Okay, now we're going to make the filling. So we're going to start off by making the filling with a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar in a bowl, 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to put 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay, and then I'm just going to start to break it up with my fork. And then I actually like to just use my clean hands just to make it very crumbly. Like that. So just take your fingertips and bring it together so that it all comes into like big crumbles. It's crumbly, okay, like that. All right, and then we're just going to sprinkle that on top of this sweet dough, and you should have enough. Leave your edges out, you know, at least 1/4 or maybe to 1/2 inch, and just spread it out as evenly as possible. Okay. And then I'm going to start on the long end, and that way you can see it better, and just roll it up in a jelly roll style. Just keep tucking it in till you come to the end, just like you would normally do any cinnamon rolls. When you get to the end, you know, you want to press that bottom to seal it. I'm going to just turn it around here and get underneath it. On sealing the edges, I usually just pinch it together and bring it up, just like when you're wrapping a gift with wrapping paper. At least that's how I do mine. And then I'm just going to seal that up. And then just make sure to have the same shape. And just roll it over to make sure that the connecting seam is there. Okay. And then to cut them, you can use a sharp knife, or again, I tend to always like to use a string. All right, and I need a pan, which I forgot to put out. All right, and then go ahead and spray it, or use your parchment paper, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you can get as many as 24 of these, and then just lay them down on your baking sheet and cut them about, I like to cut them probably about 2 inches wide. I'll cut another one here. And let's do one more. Okay, about 2 inches. And put that on my tray. I'll put that aside. And then just with the palm of your hand, just push them down. Let me bring that over a little bit. You can do it with a piece of plastic wrap if you don't want to use your hand. You know, over the plastic wrap, I should say. But I just use my palm like that. That first one's a little bit smaller. Okay. So you get the idea. And I usually get 6 on it on a tray, like that. Okay. Now, once you do that, then you need to put a little bit of a topping over it. So there's a half a cup of granulated sugar in here, and 3/4 of a teaspoon, or you can put a teaspoon, especially if you like cinnamon. And I put it in the granulated sugar and I stirred it up. And then what you're going to do is you're really going to generously put it all over the top of this. Just like that. Okay? And you will have enough for 24. Now what I like to do is I actually put either a piece of plastic wrap over it, or I put a clean kitchen towel, and I let them rise a little bit. And they usually come up within about 30 minutes or so, depending on the temperature in your kitchen. They're not going to really double in size or anything like that, but they are going to get bigger. So usually about 30 minutes does it for me. Then I, of course, take the towel or the plastic wrap off, and then I bake them at 350 degrees, and they generally take me 10 to 12 minutes. So, you know, ovens all set up so differently, so start checking them early, and, you know, you don't want to overbake them, because if you overbake them, they'll get very, very hard, and you just won't enjoy them. You really want them to be where they're crisp, but yet they're very lightweight when you break open them, and they're delicate. So let me rinse my hands really quick. And I want to show you what they look like once they're baked up. And this is how they will turn out. They really look like a cross between a cinnamon roll and a elephant ear, if you're familiar with those. So that generally you can get them at carnivals and that type of thing, the elephant ears. And I'll break one open to show you. I don't know if you can see, but they'll have that nice sugar and cinnamon top to them. They're crispy on the top, and on the bottom. They have a nice golden brown on the bottom, as you can see. And then what I like about them is when you break them open, you'll get into this almost like, well, a cinnamon roll, or even, oh, what's the word that I'm thinking of? Just very delicate, okay? And what I find is, it's kind of nice, the kids will actually pull it apart and eat it this way, just piece by piece, as they break it up and eat it, like that. And it just comes out just a great tasting little cinnamon roll, if you want to call it that, or an elephant ear. But they really taste just great. They're really good warm. You can pop them in the microwave after they cool down, or you serve them the next day, or you know, serve them cold. It's really going to be up to you. But they're easy to make, and they really come out quite delicious. If you try this recipe and you like it, well, let me hear from you. Leave a comment. And as always, I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.